गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. We are looking at the text composition by Bhagavad Padacharya, our Sri Adi Shankaracharya ji, and the composition is called Swaroopanusandhanam Ashtakam. Ashtakam meaning 8, Anusandhanam means investigation, and Swaroop is your nature, your Atma, your essence, and investigation into the self is called Swarupa Anusandhanam. And we saw the verses. One moment, let me just. तपोयज्ञदानादिविशुद्धबुद्धिः विरक्तो नृपादे पदे तुच्छबुद्ध्या परित्यज्य सर्वं यदाप्नोति तत्त्वं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि. तद एवं एव अहमस्मि. I am alone that. What am I? I am that supreme Param Brahma, that transcendental reality. And what is that transcendental reality? It is that which, when a person attains and how does he attain it? He attains paritajya sarvam. When he has discarded everything, he has detached himself from everything, he is having vairagya towards everything. For that, we want to know the details, listen to the last lecture. I am not going into details again. And with that dispassionate attitude towards all the, and what? Nripadehe pade, and all the great kingly pleasures that are available at our fingertips, or the possibilities or the desire for acquiring them. Car, mansion, not happy with one bedroom apartment, want a mansion. And then we do what? Keep cleaning and keep washing the toilets in the house. What else to do? If you have got a mansion, you can't afford the servants here. Keep, and also what? Virakto Drupadehe Pade. And this is what we saw last week. It is one of the Eshanas, the Lokeshana, that I must be recognized, I must have name and fame, I want that status in life. And Tuchcha Buddhya, and one must drop all this from their thinking, from their attitudes, from their desires, and give up everything. Paritajya yadapnoti tattvam, and only seek the tattva, only seek the truth. And in this way, we explained to you last week that how giving up everything, having detachment to everything, having dispassion towards everything will purify your mind, and as a result, when the mind is purified, the intellect has less and less data to contemplate upon. When intellect has less data to contemplate upon, if This is the body, breath, mind, intellect, truth. 5. So, if less data coming from outside, then less thoughts in the mind. If less thoughts in the mind, this is your I in the intellect. This I is having lesser and lesser data from these three to interact with. And when there is less data, weak I. No data, no I. Because I needs some data in order for its existence. It needs to associate with something or someone or some thought. But if there is nothing, then it tries, oh, I think there is void. Oh, I think there is nothing. Nah, it is not. What is that? It immediately, when there is no data, we prepare our mind that when there is no data, this I goes back to its source. And the self comes to realize the self. Parabrahma nityam yada tadevaham asmi. I am that supreme reality which is eternal, and that eternal principle I am. Not the one who's coming and going every day, not the one who's going with what do you call that? Virtual I, illusory I, and absolute I. Virtual I is which one? The father, mother, daughter, sister, these roles that we play, they are the virtual I. Then we come to the body, I am the individual. This is the illusory I. This is not the real I, this is illusory I. And we have to be the actual I. All of the three are expressing at the same moment, provided each one will reveal where your attention is. If your attention is on the child, mother will come out. If your attention is on the body, the individuality will come out. If your attention is on the self will be there. Well, actually, not necessarily. Then the process is there. That is, if I ask you a question, I'm giving you an example how at this very moment you are the absolute. If I ask you a question, do you know waking, dream and sleep come and go every day? You say yes. The one who said yes is the absolute one. Is the one who is the witness, the one who is beyond the waker, dreamer and sleeper. That fellow said yes just now. So all three are presenting themselves at this particular moment. Which one do we allow to express? So in this manner, we saw the first verse. Second verse said, Dayalum Gurum Brahmanishtam Prashantam Samaradhya Bhaktya Vicharya Swarupam Yadapnoti Tattvam Nididhyasya Vidwan Param Brahma Nityam Tadevaham Asmi. Param Brahma Nityam Tadevaham Asmi. Again, the refrain is the same. Param Brahma Nityam Tadevaham Asmi. Our goal is that. Our purpose of existence is only to realize that. Param Brahma Nityam Tadevaham Tadeva Aham Asmi. That alone I am. What is that alone I am? Nityam, the eternal, transcendental truth. Alone I am. Nothing else, nothing short of that. When this conviction, when this urge, when this yearning, when this thirst and hunger from inside to be that here and now, not tomorrow, here and now, when that happens, then the spiritual sadhana begins. So here he says, Dayalum Gurum Brahmanishtam Prashantam. That when a person goes to what type of guru you should go to? He should be compassionate. He should be loving, dayalum, who forgives and forgets. He doesn't hold grudges against any student. What? You didn't come to the class? I will not speak to you for next two weeks. Then what is the difference between you and daddy, mummy? Same thing. Dayalum. If it is for a lesson, that is a different story. But Dayalum, teacher, just like a mother, scolds the child but never has any hatred towards the child, any resentment towards the child, any ill will towards the child. Exactly the same way, Dayalum, Gurum, that Guru, the teacher, should be such who does not hold any ill will, any desire to like or dislike towards the student. He only wants the best for the student, because the teacher is able to see the potential in the student. And who is that teacher who is able to see the potential in the student? He should be Brahmanishtham Prashantam. That Guru must be established in the truth. Brahmanishtham. Nishtham is established. Brahma, truth. The one who is established in the truth and is Prashantam. Prashant, I explained last week, Prashantam is the one who is beyond Shanti, Shant and Ashant. He has gone beyond the, not only sometimes peaceful. That sometimes peace comes because of something. There is a cause to it. But Prashant, it has got no cause. It is transcendental. It is the result of being established in the Param Brahma Nityam. Param Brahma Nityam. That is that where the Prashanti, that is why Sai Baba's place is called Prashanti Nilayam. That which is beyond Shanti and Ashanti. Otherwise, our mind is continuously oscillating between running away from Ashanti and running towards Shanti. And when Shanti comes, she comes for some times and then again goes away because you are not available. So she goes away somewhere else. Then Ashanti comes. Then this fellow is not even accepting me. Then she also goes somewhere else. Then again Shanti comes. If you want to, this Guru is Prashant. Prashant, he is Prashant Mahasagar. Mahasagar, Pacific Ocean is called Prashant Mahasagar. The deeper you go within, the more Prashanti will express. What is the shallowness of personality? That if someone says anything, touch me not. Why did you do it? Why did you say that to me? Why did you do that? Why did you mention my name? Don't do, I will not speak to you. Everything is touch me not. Everything disturbs you. That is a person is only living at superficial level, like a wave. Only superficial, only on the periphery. When a stone is thrown on shallow waters, it creates bigger ripples. If the thrown is thrown in deeper waters, it creates lesser ripples. If the stone is thrown in the ocean, hardly any ripple. That ocean is your mind. Are you at the periphery of your mind? Meaning, are you only living at sensory level? Then too many ripples. Then if you are in a little bit deeper water, means you are at the level of thoughts, imaginations, a little bit less ripples, but ripples nevertheless. But if you are deep, your mind is absorbed in the source, then any stone meaning any thought, any stimuli, any experience, any incident that is taking place in the world, it will not create any ripple. Why? You are not available. Why? You have recognized. That is more important than living at the periphery. Periphery is only an illusion. What is the essence of that, of all the waves? Water. What is the essence of the world and the senses and the mind and the intellect? The consciousness. I want to be the consciousness. I am the consciousness. And as we spend more and more time contemplating, abiding, being that consciousness, then let any stone come from outside, no ripple. No ripple means no reaction in your mind. You are in the poise, undisturbed. watching everything, knowing everything, yet not reacting to anything. How beautiful. And such Guru you come to approach. Dayalum Gurum Brahmanishtham Prashantam Samaradya Bhaktya Vecharya Swarupam. And what do you do after going there? Then here it says, and such a person, Samaradya Bhaktya, such a Guru is continuously taking the name of the Lord, is dedicated to the divine, and is continuous. See, the rule is, when we are moving in the world, this we have heard from saints and sages, various masters. And what do they say? When you are within, Vicharya Swarupam. When you are with by yourself, Vicharya Swarupam. Don't teach Swarupam to others. But teach when you are interacting with yourself. In your own mind only you will interact. What do? You contemplate on your nature. When you are outside, what do? Samaradya Bhaktya. Live in devotion towards the world, considering it as the expression of the divine Lord. This is the knack that we have to learn. This inner contemplation on the self will lead to Vairagya. And at the same time, when you are out there in the world, you instead of considering the world as separate to you, you are attempting to see it as the expression of the divine. See? Just like you see, all the waves are nothing but expressions of the ocean. Just like you see, all the ornaments are nothing but expressions of the gold. Same way, you see the whole world of variety, gross, subtle and causal, as an expression of that one divinity. You don't know what it is. You may call it God, that is okay. But we'll call it Brahman. Here we are in Vedanta. We call it Brahman. And we don't know what it is. Outside we can never find it. But inside, Swaroopanusandhanam, that is the name of the text. So we are continuously getting in touch with the source. Source is not outside. You can never find it outside because your senses are hijacked. When senses are hijacked, mind is hijacked. When mind is hijacked, the eye is hijacked. And we can never become steady. So you can be steady inside, and the more steady you remain inside, directly proportional to that steadiness will express itself when you are interacting with the world. Automatically. But the transformation has to take place within. Samaradya Bhaktya Vecharya Swarupam. So, who is this teacher? Who initiates you into the bhakti and how to contemplate Vicharya Swarupam. Because having thoughts is not equal to contemplation. These are so many words here. Yeah, you can read it yourself also. Why you need to come to me to listen? Why you need to come to me? Dayalum Gurum Brahmanishtam Prashantam Samaradya Bhaktya Vicharya Swarupam. I am that Brahman, etc., etc. It's written, commentary is written. Why you need to come and understand? See? Because we are coming to this composition, this verse or these verses. What is our disposition as an individual? What is our disposition as an employee? What is our disposition as a mother, father, daughter, sister? Was it our disposition, I am so stressed, I need some satsang? That could also be. So the disposition is that of stress. How you are going to understand that which is beyond stress and not stress? How can you understand what is being told here is the highest? Param Brahma Nityam Tadevaham Asmi. I am that transcendental, eternal reality. How am I going to be that? Not accept, be that. When I am already taking a position of a mother, or I am hungry, or I am an individual, or I am not understanding, or it is very difficult. If you have taken that position, very difficult for revelation to happen. And therefore, it is told we must do Shravanam. We must listen to a teacher. Best is listen to a teacher, one who is Dayalum Gurum Brahmanishtam Prashantam. So you are making a mistake coming to me.
No.
So you go to a Dayalum Gurum Brahmanishtam Prashantam. Yadapnoti Tattvam Nididhyasya Vidwan. And what does he Yadapnoti Tattvam Nididhyasya Vidwan. And here he says that a person reaches as a result of deep intellectual inquiry and unhindered contemplation of oneself. So here it is not told that you go to a teacher because you want answers to your life. You have already contemplated enough. You have already contemplated on the ephemerality of the world. You have already contemplated on the non-reality of this world, because it is continuously changing. So you already sorted this out for yourself. And as a result of that, which was the first verse, you have started becoming interested in scriptures. You have started getting interested in what is that constant, what is that God, what is that that unchanging principle, what is that? Is it outside or is it inside? But I think I meditate also, it must be inside. And I have an inkling, but I'm not able to understand it completely, because it is not a concept, so I cannot articulate it. It is not an idea, so I cannot imagine it. It is beyond the words, and yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasa. It is beyond the words and it's beyond the comprehension of the mind. Then how do I come to know that I have reached it, or I am it? So I have to go to a teacher. Which one? Dayalum Gurum Brahmanishtam Prashantam. Yesterday in Kathopanishad we told you, there are only two pramanas by which we can come to know, and that is, one is the scriptures and the second is the saints and sages, Mahatmas. Mahatmas are the ones who say, what the scriptures are saying, I have realized. Therefore, you must also study the scriptures, because we are living proof of that. Is that not an ego trip? No, it is not an ego trip. It is Dayalum. He is helping you. He is helping you to realize what he has realized. If I have tasted a gulab jamun and I tell you, you must taste the gulab jamun, is it an ego trip? No, I want to share what I am enjoying, that you should also enjoy. So where did you get the gulab jamun? From that particular shop. Where did you get this joy, anandam, prashantam? From the scriptures. Study scriptures. That is the shop you have to go to. So it is not an ego trip. How does he know that? You taste it, you find out, he can never tell you. But for that, so that we can become available to his guidance, we have to surrender, we have to become a disciple, we have to have devotion, we must be unclutched from the world, if that is our goal. And in this manner, tadapnoti tattvam nididhyasa vidwan, and as a result of this nididhyasan is contemplation. Contemplation, the contemplation on the truth, and then as a result he comes to know that Param Brahma Nityam Tadevahamasmi. This also we saw last week. This third one also we have done. Yadananda Rupam Prakasha Swarupam Nirasta Prapancham Parichhedahinam Aham Brahma Vrityeka Gamyam Turiyam Param Brahma Nityam Tadevahamasmi Param Brahma Nityam Tadevahamasmi. Yada Ananda Rupam. I explained this. Ananda is the continuous happiness, the continuous bliss. It is not that bliss which comes and goes. Self is of the nature of Satchit Ananda. That Ananda we are talking about. We are not talking about that which is a temporary happiness. We are talking about permanent happiness. And yad ananda rupam. So what does ananda signify? That there is no iota of grief in this principle. There is no misery and grief. Only then you will be ananda. There is complete contentment in such a person. Then alone you will reach the ananda that you are, isn't it? And what else it is? It is prakasha swarupam. It is of the nature of light. It is, what is this nature of light? It is that which illumines everything. Yato na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyato bhanti kutoyam agni tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Probably next class or the next to next class of Kathopanishad, this verse will come. Na tatra suryo bhati. So, and we chant this. What is that? It is that light which is not illumined by sun, the light of the sun, the light of the moon, the light of the stars, the light of the lightning or the fire. 5 sources of light. They cannot illuminate it. They are having illumination because of that light. Na tatra suryo bhati. That none of these 5 sources of light can illuminate that source. Prakasha Swarupam. And where is this Prakash? Then who is illuminating? If these 5 cannot be illuminated cannot illuminate the truth, then who can illuminate? No, nobody can, because you are that light. How come? How come I am that light? Because all these 5 sources of light, sun, moon, stars, lightning and fire, are illumined by your eyes. So my physical eye becomes more powerful than these 5 sources of light. Then this eye is illumined by my mind. My mind becomes more powerful than the 5 senses. Then mind is illumined by the eye. So eye becomes more powerful than the mind. The subject becomes more important than the object. And the subject and object are known, are appearing in the presence of the witness, in the presence of the Atma. So that Atma is the Prakasha Swarupam. Swarupam means essence, the self. It is of the nature of light. Don't look for, oh, I had a wonderful light when I closed my eyes and I went in and I went through the dark tunnel and then there was a big blast of light in meditation. You are standing at traffic lights. Nothing like that. People do experience, but don't get lost in it. It is not that way. You cannot experience this light because you are that light. And in this way, Yadananda Rupam Prakasha Swarupam Nirasta Prapancham Parichhedahinam. And what is this light? It is Nirasta Prapancham. It is beyond the Prapancha. Prapancha is this world, the world of change. It is beyond the world of change. In other words, I just explained to you, these 5 sources of light are part of the world. The world, it is beyond. It is transcendental to that. In its presence, this world appears, but it is not affected by the world. It is not influenced by that world. Just like the sun is not affected by the day and night that appears on the earth. Neither the sun sets, neither the sun rises, neither the sun is of the nature of light like we see it on the earth, neither it is affected by darkness. We see the light and darkness. Darkness is what? Absence of the sun. Light, day is what? Presence of the sun. But who is the sun? Who is unaffected by the presence of day and night. It is transcendental, because the presence of the day does not illuminate the sun. Sun was already there. And the absence of light, which is night, doesn't mean that the sun is not. Sun is there. Earth has turned around. That's all. So similarly, this Atma is ever and ever and ever. Nirasta prapancham paricheda, and only come to know through inquiry. Parichedahinam can be known only through reflective statements. And what are the reflective statements? What are the contemplative statements? What are the what is the Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, no? So what is the Mananam? What is the reflection that we have to do? That is Aham Brahma Vritti Ekagamyam Turiyam. Aham Brahma Vritti. I am the Aham Brahma Vritti. Vritti means thought. So what is the thought? Aham Brahma. I am Brahman. This is the thought. Ekagamyam. Again and again thinking with in English you will say bhav, but in English you will say feeling, but in Sanskrit the word bhav has lot more connotation than just feeling. It is feeling, it is sincerity, it is commitment, it is faith, it is all these different things put together. That I am that is the bhav that you are invoking within yourself. Aham Brahma Vritti Ekagamyam. So you are thinking that I am that Brahman. Ekagamyam. Eka means one, Gamyam means Gachati, means one thought continuously with that feeling going toward. And what is that feeling? Aham Brahma, I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. What was the first two verses told? No, in this also it comes. Param Brahma Nityam Tad Evam Eva Aham Asmi. Aham Brahma Vritti Ekagamyam. So when you have got one single pointed thought and bhav is in the mind and focus is in the intellect. Okay, understand this. So when both of them, mind and intellect, come together towards one focus, towards one goal, what is that goal? Aham Brahma. It takes you to the transcendental state, because the thought Aham Brahma is such a thought which leads to no conclusion. It takes you beyond thought of Aham Brahma. Then where does it take you? It takes you what? That word Aham Brahma. Aham, I, Brahma, I am Brahman. So Aham Brahmasmi. So these are just two words. So I am separate to Brahman, isn't it? I am Brahman. So here the subject is I and the object is Brahman, the reality, the truth, the infinity. But when we are contemplating in this manner, it will deliver you to that. And when does that delivery take place? When the thought of Aham Brahmasmi dies its death. The thought has to die. Then abidance will begin. Initial stage. Afterwards, whether thought is there or not there, it does not matter. But initially it happens that way. Turiyam. Turiyam is the transcendental, the fourth state. Here, Turiyam, you can also take it as it when you continuously contemplate with a single pointed focus towards Aham Brahmasmi, it will take you into Samadhi. But then Once samadhi, once you have tasted it, then you want to go in again and again. Then, as I explained yesterday, when you go again and again into samadhi, you think, why am I going again and come out again? The world is there. How can it be a continuous experience inside or outside? Then you come to Vedanta. Then Param Brahma Nityam Tadevaham Asmi. Now we are starting today the 4th verse. Yadajnanato bhati vishwam samastam vinashtam cha sadyo yadatma prabodhe manovagatitam vishuddham vimuktam param brahma nityam tadevaham asmi. Param Brahma Nityam Tadevaham Asmi. I am that Brahman which is superior to all, the eternal consciousness, blemishless and unbounded, which cannot be comprehended by one's mind and speech, and by realization of whose conscious and blissful nature all the superimposed creation, the byproduct of ignorance, vanishes. So let's Yad Ajnanato bhati vishwam samastam. What is that? Samastam vinashtam cha sadyo yadatma prabodhe. Yad atma prabodhe. When I come to know the Atma, when I come to know the Self, what happens? The vinashtam. Vinashtam is destroyed. What is destroyed? Ajnanato. The ignorance is destroyed. And when ignorance is destroyed, then what happens? Vishwam samastam. The entire samastam means entire. Vishwam is the world. The entire world is destroyed along with the ignorance. Ignorance alone is expressing as the multiplicity. That means my child is a product of ignorance. Why only your child? If your attention is on the body, then your body is also product of ignorance. Your mind is also product of ignorance. Your intellect is also product of ignorance. Your memories and aspirations are also product of ignorance. Your individuality is also product of ignorance. What about totality? Also product of ignorance. Then who am I? The transcendental one. The one which has never fallen. Na tatra suryo bhati. That one you are. Then my attachment, my the love that I have for my nears and dears, and my house, and my special chair, and my and the satsang, all this is zero. Yes. Oh my God! Now what do I hold on to? We are used to holding on to something. We are used to associating with something or the other for our, to establish ourselves. So if you don't have a son, you cannot be a mother. If you don't have a husband, you cannot be a wife. If you don't have body, oh, I'm a ghost. If I have a subtle body, oh my God, at least I am. So if I have a body, I am. I can define myself through some form. With reference to something, I have learned how to define myself. Here the attempt is to take away all reference points from you. That then alone will be the truth. Then alone Parabrahma Nityam Tadevaham Asmi. So here he says, when you are, from the previous verse, Aham Brahma Ekagamyam Turiyam, when we contemplate in that manner, then what happens? Yad Ajnanato bhati Vishwam Samastam. Then all the ignorance dies away. Along with that, the Vishwam Samastam. What is Vishwa? What is the world for you? What is the world for you?
Whatever we react to it.
It's an experience.
Whenever this question is asked, what is the world for you? there should be only one answer: waking, dreaming, and sleeping. This is your total experience of the world. Not only what I see here. You see, hear, touch, feel in dream also. Who's going to talk about that? You're only talking about 1/3 of experience if you're talking about waking. Your total experience is waking plus dream plus deep sleep. So when we are talking about Vishwam, Vishwam is your total world. Vishwam Samasam. Now, having said this, uh, yeah. What I was saying? Correct. Vishwam. Drop the 3 words. Vinashtam. What is dropping? Samastam Vinashtam. You don't drop them. You don't destroy them. They get destroyed. Just like they get destroyed when you go to sleep, the whole waking world gets destroyed by you. Destroyed meanings it is not able to influence you. Why it is not able to influence you or make a thought of present itself as a thought in your mind or your senses? Because you are not available. So when again and again eka gamyam aham brahma, and when all my thoughts are continuously aham brahmasmi, aham brahmasmi, aham brahmasmi, I am contemplating, this is the nididhyasan, this is the contemplation that I am doing, it will lead to this point where the world will stop having an impact on your mind. That means only one thought is going on, aham brahmasmi. The thought, eyes may be open, eye may be closed, nose may be open, but you are not. You are so in tune with that infinite reality that is the self within, that you're focused on it, you have worked it all out. By listening to a teacher, by studying the scriptures, by yearning from within that I need to reach that constant principle, and I worked out that that constant principle, I cannot catch it in the world because I am that constant principle. I have always been there. It's the way waker comes, goes, dreamer comes, goes, sleeper comes, goes. I continue to be. That I is not somewhere outside. It is me only. So now I have worked it out and I want to know that fellow. I want to be that fellow in spite of everything else. Automatically when this thirst comes from within, mumukshutvam, to know this, realize this, then the world stops having an impact. Manovagatitam vishuddham vimuktam, and manaha vak, manaha is mind, vak means speech, vishuddham vimuktam, atitam vishuddham vimuktam, which cannot be comprehended. So by talking, by thinking, you cannot remove the world. By talking, you cannot remove the world. So what am I doing? Talking. What am I doing? Thinking. Thoughts alone are appearing as words. You are also listening to words only. But while speaking and while listening, where is our attention? Is our attention on the words, or is our attention on that in the presence of which the listening is taking place and the talking is taking place? From my point of view, is my attention on that because of which the speaking is taking place at this moment? From your point of view, is your attention on that in the presence of which the hearing is taking place? That is consciousness, that is Atma, that is your true being. When you are oriented in this manner, and why we are oriented? Because we have assessed. The scriptures are saying, the masters are saying, and it is our experience also that our speech cannot reach it. Our mind cannot comprehend it, illuminate it. Our intellect cannot conceptualize it. It is not, the self is not an object of ideation. It is not an object of feeling. It is not an object of the speech. It is not the object of any of the senses. Then how do I? You have to just appreciate it. But this is the paddhati, this is the process, this is the methodology. Make your mind single pointed with bhav that I am that. And in that process, as the world recedes, mind becomes calm, prashant. In that prashant mind, first the agyan and the world will drop away, and then the light of consciousness will reveal itself. When will it reveal? When even the thought aham brahmasmi dissolves. Because now you are not thinking objectively of the Atma, but being the Atma. You contemplated so single pointedly that the aham and Brahman, because what is the feel? That Atma alone is Brahman. Then why am I talking about it? Why am I again and again saying aham brahmasmi, I am that, I am that? Why should I say it when both are same? Eureka. Bang. The big bang takes place. And in this way, by the comprehended by one's mind and speech, and by realization of whose conscious and blissful nature of the all superimposed creation, by the product of ignorance vanishes. So I already explained that the whole world is nothing but a product of ignorance, ajnana. Ajnanato bhati vishwam samastam. So and what is the byproduct of the ignorance? Avidya, kama, karma. And or from avidya from ignorance came the 5 sheaths. At the same time, the 5 space, air, fire, water, earth. And at the same, when the space, air, fire, water, earth came, same time the 5 senses also came. They are also products of the 5 senses, 5 elements. And in this way, everything came together. It's all a product of the agyan. When we talk about totality, then we don't talk about agyan. Then we talk, it is the product of maya. Understand? So when it is at the individual level, we call it as ignorance. When we talk it from the totality, that is Lord's point of view. Who is Lord? Whose potentiality is under his control. Therefore we call it maya. Who are we? Individual. What is our position? Under the clutches of ignorance at the moment. It seems that way. So we are trying to find a way back. So either you contemplate on the Lord or contemplate on the Devi. That is one way. But in Vedanta, we don't go in that direction. We come to straight to the conscious self. The 4th verse went, Yadajnanato bhati vishwam samastam vinashtam cha sadyo yadatma prabodhe manovagatitam vishuddham vimuktam param brahma nityam tadevahamasmi. Param brahma nityam tadevahamasmi. Vishuddham is that which is extraordinarily pure. And Vimuktam is that is extraordinarily free. It is not free because of, it is not pure because of, it is of the nature of purity. It is of the nature of freedom. Just as it is told that just as the saints live, they live in this world, but they are not influenced by the world. Why? Because they have recognized that they are the Vishuddha, Vimukta Atma. So, the ocean is not affected, influenced by any number of waves that are appearing within it. So, it is supporting all the waves. All the waves are created, maintained and destroyed in the ocean, but the ocean is uninfluenced by the coming and going of the waves. Why? Ocean is not only the waves, it is only the periphery of the water. Ocean is much deeper, therefore it is not affected. Therefore, when we recognize that we are who we are in essence, aham brahmasmi, then the periphery, which is the sensory, at the sensory level, nothing will affect us, will not be influenced by it. And in this manner, vishuddham vimuktam, that will lead to the vimukti, that will lead to the transcendental freedom. Continuing, निषेधे कृते नेति नेतीति वाक्यैः समाधिस्थितानां यदा भाति पूर्णम् अवस्थात्रयातीतमेकं तुरीयं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि. Here he says, I am that Brahman, Param Brahma Nityam Tadevaham Asmi. That alone, I am that alone, eternal, transcendental Brahman. Who is that? Which is superior to all, the one without the second. Avastha trayatitam ekam turiyam. Turiyam means transcendental to all. Transcendent, I have already answered this. Automatically the thought goes in that direction. What is that? Turiyam, the fourth state. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, Turiya. So what is the fourth state? That is the transcendental state. Para, beyond. Beyond what? Avasthatraya. Avasthatraya. Traya means three. Avastha means states. What are the three states? Waking, dream and deep sleep. That state which is beyond these three states is the Turiya state. And Atitamekam. And it is, Atita means beyond. It is that one which is transcendental. Avasthatrayatitamekam turiyam param brahma nityam tadevaham asmi. It is ekam. Ekam is one without a second. Ekameva dvitiya nanasti kinchana. That other than that one, there is nothing else. From the water's point of view, only water is. There is nothing called ocean, there is nothing called tides, there is nothing called bubbles, there is nothing called froth, there is nothing called waves, there is nothing called tsunami. There is only water, 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 water. From water's point of view. From gold's point of view, there is only gold. There is nothing called ornaments. Exactly the same way, from this Turiya, Eka Tattva, this transcendental, one without a second reality's point of view, that is Atma, that is you. There is nothing else except the self. We have to come to that realization. We have to come to that realization. Avasthatrayatitam ekam turiyam. Then he says, one without a second, and one who is comprehended by yogis immersed in the state of samadhi. Nishedhe krute neti netiti vakyaihi. Who are these yogis? Who nishedha, those who have removed everything that is temporary from their contemplation. Nishede. And how did they remove it? By doing neti practice. Not this, not this. I'm not this, I'm not this. I'm not the world. I'm not the changing. I am the changeless. I am not the senses, because they're continuously flickering. I am the constant one. I am not the waker. I am the constant one. I am not the dreamer. I am the constant one. I am not the sleeper. I am the constant one. I am not the father, mother, daughter. I am the constant one. So like this, always coming to the constant one, always coming to the constant. This is called neti. I am not this, I am not this, I am not. Then what am I? I am everything that there is. But how do we come to know this? I am that everything. First we have to come to know that I am Brahman. When you come to know the Brahman, Brahman is of the nature of everything. Everything does not mean all the variety. Brahman means, how should I explain it? In Brahman is that reality in which there is no multiplicity. Yet it supports multiplicity. multiplicity is not possible, yet it's seen to be supporting multiplicity, but not getting affected by the multiplicity. And for this, the scriptures say it is the upadana karan and nimitta karan. It is the creator as well as the material. Just like the water is the material of all the expressions of the water, and water is the creator of all the expressions of the water. Who is that? You. Who is that? The Atma. In this manner, as splendorous effulgence, and who is identified by the negative statements of the Upanishad, such as not this, not this. Krite neti neti ti vakyaihi. When we contemplate on this neti neti, I am not the gross body, I am not the subtle body, I am not the causal body. In other words, I am not the world, then I am not the senses, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am the conscious principle. We come to that. And in other words, I am not the panchakoshas. I am not the gross body. I am not the vital air body. I am not the mental body. I am not the intellectual body. And neither I am the bliss body. Bliss body is the deep sleep state, causal state. So I am neither these five sheets. Then who am I? The one who knows that these five come and go. That one I am. And in this is called this is the Shankacharya Vedanta Paddhiti. First we do this introduced by Shankaracharya, that first we remove by contemplation, by thinking, by inquiry, we remove that which is changing by focusing on that which is constant. Remember what is inquiry? Discrimination. Discrimination is inquiry into what is constant and what is changing. So whatever is changing, discard. Whatever is changing, don't give importance. Whatever is changing, don't react to it. Then what do I do? Then remain focused on that which is constant. Initially focus. Then abidance will become about. Because when you are focused on that which is constant, the impact of the non-constant, the changing, it will reduce and reduce and reduce, and eventually the changing, gross, subtle and causal, they become completely quiet. Where the moment they become completely quiet, so samadhis, and as a result of this, neti neti, one comes to the state of samadhi, samadhis sthitinam yada bhati purnam. And in that samadhi, if these verses are studied and understood and contemplated upon, in the samadhi, you will come to realize your completeness. It is not a step-by-step liberation. Once you come to the Atma, Atma alone, what is the refrain? Param Brahma Nityam Tadeva Aham Asmi. Aham Asmi. Aham, this I alone is Parabrahma Nityam, the eternal, transcendental reality, consciousness. So we are not going into samadhi to come back to the same world which we left before the samadhi. So when we contemplate correctly and go into samadhi, the realization is Purnam, Yada Bhati Purnam. It's a complete revelation of the self. And then when the samadhi breaks, eventually it will break. Because that's the condition of the mind got absorbed because of focus. Now afterwards, sometime again, just like you can't control waking, dream, deep sleep, they keep happening. Similarly now, fourth one has been added, samadhi. But when you come out of samadhi, you don't come back to the same world. Now what is the world? There is no world, there is only reality. Only I am everywhere. Oh. How that would be? You can't even imagine. You can't even imagine. You can't imagine when the wave realizes that it is the infinite waters. Once it realizes, and then, now what? As water, what will be if at all at totality level, what will be its experience? Every wave I am only expressing. Every wave is nothing but me, isn't it? As water or ocean. Same way here also. That when I come to this Brahman, when I come to the Atma, I'll come back to the same world. But if I understood Atma alone is Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, Param Brahma Nityam, Aham Asmi. When I come to this, with this recognition, with this understanding, I am absorbed into Samadhi. With this conviction, I am absorbed into Samadhi. With this bhava, I am absorbed into Samadhi. Then when I come out of Samadhi, I come back to myself. When I go back into Samadhi, I go back. In other words, I am the one everywhere. Inside also, outside also. There's nowhere to go. The mind is going inside, outside. But self is everywhere. Only appreciate it. Only appreciate what is being told to you right now. And appreciate it subjectively. Don't assess what the teacher is saying. Don't try to work it out. Apply it on yourself. Apply it on that what is being told is me, my God. Not even my God. I am God, yeah. Don't go and tell the world. निषेधे कृते नेति नेतीति वाक्यैः समाधिस्थितीनां यदा भाति पूर्णम् अवस्थात्रयातीतमेकं तुरीयं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि. Clear? निषेधे कृते नेतीति वाक्यैः. By not this, eventually reach samadhi sthitinam, come to the state of samadhi, yada bhati purnam, and coming to the samadhi, you drop everything, come to the self. And what are you coming to yourself? Yada, then bhati purnam, you come to the completeness of yourself, which is aham, this Atma alone is Brahman. Then as a result, what has happened? Avasthatrayatitam ekam turiyam. And okay, here he's saying that it should be because of the meter and everything, they have put it there. In Sanskrit, it is not necessary the way it is written, that alone way you have to understand. So, avastha trayatitam ekam turiyam, that as a result of that purnam, you have gone beyond atitam, beyond the three states, and you are that one without a second, transcendental reality. And what is that transcendental reality? That the seeker has come to realize without a thought, Parabrahma Nityam Tadevahamasmi. This is the realization without thought. In this manner, contemplate. Coming to the next one. Yadanandaleshai samanandi vishvam yada bhati sattve tada bhati sarvam yada lokane rupamanyat samastam param brahma nityam tadevahamasmi param brahma nityam tadevahamasmi. I am that eternal Brahman, Param Brahma Nityam Tadevahamasmi, whose infinitesimal part of bliss is this world. Yadananda Leshai, tiny part. Samanandi Vishwam, the whole world is only a tiny part. By whose existence all the objects become known. Yada bhati sattve tada bhati sarvam. And by whose vision all other get their forms. Now here it is forms that is become known as the objects. This is your experience, is being put in words by the scripture. Who is speaking? Who is speaking? Adi Shankaracharya. Who is Adi Shankaracharya? A realized master. Who is Adi Shankaracharya? Incarnation of Lord Shiva. He cannot say it wrong. He is saying it from his direct experience. Just like Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying it from his direct experience in Amrutanubhav. So I am that eternal Brahman. And see, in Puranas also it is told, where is the world? How big is the world? How much space is the world occupying? If Lord is infinite, where is the world in the infinite? As a depiction, it is told that the entire universe or universes put together occupy only a dot on the right toe of Lord Narayana. Only one dot. How big is Narayana? Huge. Compared to that, imagine you are the Narayana. What is the significance of that one dot on the right toenail? Insignificant. Insignificant. That whose infinitesimal part of bliss is this world. So only one, because Lord by nature is Satchidanand. Ishwar is also Satchidanand. Brahman is also Satchidanand. Atma is also Satchidanand. Understand? So when you come into Samadhi, if you are with the Atma only, then you will come to the Samadhi. It is Satchidanand Swarup. But only in this body. Therefore, it is only, you have not come to experience the magnanimity of it. Brahman, Paramatma, Brahman of Vedanta, Paramatma of Yoga, Bhagwan of devotion. All the three mean the same. So, Brahman, Satchidanand Swarup, infinite existence, infinite consciousness, infinite bliss. And the Lord, infinite existence, infinite consciousness, infinite bliss. Why? Brahman is by nature like that. Lord, because he is not under the influence of his Shakti, potentiality, therefore he is like that. And Atma, which is when you realize you are the Atma, when you are not affected by your five sheaths, then you are also of the nature of Satchidananda. See, it's that simple. But where are we caught up? We want that Ananda from outside. We want to complete ourselves through references. So who am I? I am the son of my mother. Who am I? I was born on this date. Who am I? Who is so many kilos and so much height. Who am I? I had this profession, now I am a monk. Who am I? I keep going on and always with reference. So many years old, healthy, unhealthy, hungry, not hungry, etc., etc. I keep only with reference I talk about myself. Can I talk about accept myself as a reference-less being? If you come to recognize yourself without any reference, you are there. Parabrahma tat nityam tadeva ahamasmi. Referenceless.
Drop this individuality.
You can't drop it.
No?
You can't drop it. Because individuality, you are at this moment. How can you drop yourself? Very difficult. Actually an impossibility. All you can drop is that which you are not.
So we are not the individual.
But you don't know that. Only individual is speaking at this moment. So you drop the world, you drop the body, you drop the breath, means that also you cannot drop because you didn't create it. You didn't create the body, then how can you drop the body? You didn't create the breath, how can you drop the breath? You didn't create the vision, how can you drop the vision? You can only temporarily drop. close, but it will be force.
Yes. Just don't associate it with
Instead, we don't even say don't associate. Instead, be oriented towards the self, the constant principle. And while you are oriented towards the constant principle, every time the mind does go into this side, away from the self, I am not this, I am not this, I am this. Again, come back. Again it goes, again come back. Again goes, again come back. That's the only way. Who's doing this? Individual only is doing this. Individual is only making the commitment to think about the truth, Atma. Individual is only thinking, having the desire to come to the satsang, to mumukshutvam, the vivek, vairagya, shatka sampatti, mumukshutvam. For whom is this? This is not for the Atma or Bhagwan or Paramatma. It is for the individual only. The scriptures are not for the Paramatma, Bhagwan or Atma. They are for the individual only. So you cannot, the individuality must dissolve. You cannot drop individuality. Don't be, it will lead to mental complications if you try to drop individuality. Individuality must as smoothly go away as the waker goes away when you go to sleep. You don't even come to know that it has gone. Because you can't catch it because you are already sleeping. Similarly, you contemplate, think in such a manner that without your knowledge of the world, you come to abide in the self by being the self. This is the art. This is the art of contemplation. No force, no will, no, and even if it is used, if effort is put across, it's only to reach the effortlessness. If I'm desiring the truth, I only desire to reach the desireless state. If I put efforts only to reach effortlessness. Just like when I'm going to sleep, now I go back home, I change into my night clothes. I'm putting efforts. I'm taking these clothes off, putting new night clothes on, putting the light off, getting into the bed, getting into comfortable position. All this requires effort. But for what? Only to reach effortless sleep, isn't it? Same way. Consciously do it towards, not for sleep, but for the Atma. You have to remain awake. Yadananda leshai, the whole world is only an expression of Ananda. Ananda is this Shakti. Ananda is this Maya. Ananda is this potentiality of the divine. So then Ananda leshai samanande Vishwa. The entire Vishwa. What is again Vishwa? Waking plus dream plus deep sleep is nothing but an expression of the bliss of the divine. So before what took it as? Neti neti. Yeah. Now what are we taking it as? Recognizing it as Ananda Swarupam. And what was that Ananda? The Atma. So it is, and how much? Only a teeny meeny fraction of that Atma or the Brahman is that Vishwa. How much time, as he is not giving any significant attention to that world, it is running by itself. It is complete perfect order because God is perfect, Brahman is perfect, Atma is perfect, then the world also has to be perfect. But are we having the vision of seeing it as perfect? We see only faults. We only see victory and defeat. We only see joys and sorrows. We only see hunger and thirst. We only see rich and poor. We only see all opposites we see, isn't it? And what does Bhagavad Gita say? Sukha dukkha same kritva labha labho jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yuddhasva na shochati na kankshati. Remain in the middle of joys and sorrows, remain in the middle of victory and defeat, remain in the middle of gain and loss. Do not get influenced by regrets and guilts. Do not get influenced by expectations. Leave them aside. Remain in the poise. Remain in the poise. And the poise only comes not when you're thinking of joys and sorrows, victory and defeat. Poise only happens. It's a knack. It only happens when we are contemplating on the self. The constant principle. Self, not self. Always qualify the self. Self is that which is unchanging. Self, like, oh, I'm contemplating on the which self? Aanke band ki, the mother is coming up. That self. Or you close the eyes and I'm contemplating on the self, and then sleep is coming. Sleep self. No, contemplating on that self which is of the nature of constancy. It is not changing. And it is Ananda Swarup. So 100% inspiration. So you have to do it with inspiration, not with laziness. Sama yadananda leshai samanandi vishwam. So this whole world is nothing but a lesh matra of the anand of the reality. Lesh matra. Just teeny mini prickly dot of that anand. Only that one tiny minuscule fraction of that reality, of that constant reality, is this changing world. Now contemplate where your attention is. Your 99% is attention is on the world, and maybe 0.1% is on that reality. It should be exactly the opposite, isn't it? That's the cause of all misery. Yada bhati sattve tada bhati sarvam. And yada bhati sattve, it is yada, then bhati sarve tada bhati sarvam. Sarvam means all. What is all? All the objects. Then by whose existence all the objects become known. Bhati means illuminate. So sattve. So by the illumination of the pure, or by the pure illumination, yada bhati sattve, by that pure illumination, tada bhati, everything gets illumined. Or everything, illumination, consciousness is bhati, is also known. See, remember what is the world? 5 things. Asti, bhati, priya, nama, roop. Asti means existence, bhati means consciousness, priya means ananda, nama, roop is the world. So everything, these 5 are there with the world, with reference to the world. So even this teva, this is asti, this glass is. This bhati, I know this glass. This is my glass. I will not allow you to drink from this. Priya. Nama, roop, it has a form and it has a name called glass. So every object in this world, asti, bhati, priya, nama, roop. Nama, roop is the aspect of the world. Asti, bhati, priya is the aspect of the consciousness or the truth, or the atma. That atma is getting attached to this, and or everything, I shouldn't say that, retreat. Everything in this world is known as asti, bhati, priya, nama, roop. But this is, and all the name and form are associated with asti, bhati, priya. Without asti, bhati, priya, nama, roop cannot express. If a conscious person is not there, name and form has got no meaning. What about if you are not there, Swamiji, it's okay, but we are still there, name and form is there? It is subjective. It is each one's journey. Only when you wake up, you borrow your Satchidanand to every name and form. You recognize everything is. Everything is, I know it is. See? And it is dear to me. So, the wife has a name and form, or a husband has a name and form. Then the form is I know this is the form Bhati, Priya. This is my husband, Priya. And what is that husband? Name and form. What is that wife? Name and form. What is that child? Name and form. Everything is for me. Yada bhati sattve tada bhati sarvam. So by this consciousness alone, everything is known in this creation. So it is not by the sun, the moon, the stars, the lightning, the fire. It is not because of that you come to know everything. Even that sun and the five sources of light are known by you. So you are the source of those lights, because your eyes are illuminating those lights. Eyes are illuminated by the mind. Mind is illuminated by the intellect. Intellect is illuminated by the consciousness that you are. So you are that light of all light of consciousness. So recognize your true being rather than live at the mercy of the world or senses or thoughts or ego. Yada bhati sattve tada bhati sarvam. When this will happen? This will happen when the previous verse is practiced. So you have come slowly, you have come to this point. Now, before it was neti neti, now it is expansion of your consciousness. You are recognizing that everything is nothing but that one consciousness alone. And what is the status of the world in that consciousness? Only a tiny, tiny, minuscule fraction. But what is it made up of? Nothing but Ananda. Yada lokane rupamanyat samastam. And all the yada, then all the lokas, the rupamanyat samastam, they all the lokas, uh, uh, or all the objects, or all the experience, all the experienceable objects, or all the objects in the world, they get their form because of this light, because of this illumination, because of this this eternal light, and become known as the objects. So in this manner, yada yadanandaleshai samanandi vishwam, yada bhati sattve tada bhati sarvam, yada lokane rupamanyat samastam, param brahma nityam tadevahamasmi, param brahma nityam tadevahamasmi. So by whose existence all the objects become known, and by whose vision all others get their form. So in this manner, contemplate on your being. We'll read this, but we'll look at it in our next class. Anantam vibhum sarvayonim niriham, Shivam sangahinam yadonkaragam, Nirakaramathyujjalam mrityuhinam, Param brahma nityam tadevahamasmi, Param brahma nityam tadevahamasmi. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just sit quietly for a moment. Hari Om.